In the pocket of a boy who had stopped running, I found words his mother would never read. February 1945. The war was ending, but no one had told the snow. It fell the same as it always had, slow, silent, covering the dead and the living without preference. I was a captain then, 27 years old, leading a rifle company through what used to be a village in the Rhineland. The name doesn't matter anymore. Most of the signs were gone, most of the people too. We moved carefully, not because we expected resistance, but because the silence made us nervous. You learn to trust noise in war. Gunfire, engines, shouting, these things make sense. But silence? Silence meant something was waiting. The buildings leaned like old men. Roofs caved in, walls black from fire. In one doorway, a chair sat upright, untouched, as if someone had just stood up and walked away. My men didn't talk much. We'd been moving for weeks, through mud, through rain, through towns that looked like they'd been torn apart by something bigger than bombs. Some of the guys were kids, 18, 19. They wrote letters home about how close we were to the end, how soon they'd be back in Michigan or Georgia or wherever they came from. I didn't write much anymore. I didn't know what to say. The cold was the worst part. It got into your bones, made your fingers stiff, made you slow. At night, we'd huddle in basements or barns, sharing cigarettes, trying not to think about frostbite. The Germans were retreating. Everyone knew that. But retreat doesn't mean surrender. It just means they're somewhere else, waiting. We heard them sometimes. Distant, the low rumble of trucks, the crack of a rifle. Once, the scream of a Nebelwerfer, rocket artillery, tearing through the trees a mile west. It shook the ground beneath us, and we pressed ourselves into the frozen earth until it stopped. One of my men, a kid from Pennsylvania named Kowalski, asked me if I thought they knew it was over. "The Germans," he said, "do you think they know?" I didn't answer, because I didn't know, and because I wasn't sure it mattered. War doesn't end cleanly. It drags, it stumbles, it dies slow. We found him 3 days later. There was a farmhouse at the edge of a field, stone walls half collapsed, a barn nearby, roof sagging under the weight of wet snow. We approached from the tree line, standard procedure. 2 men forward, the rest spread wide. No movement, no smoke from a chimney, no sound but the wind. Then one of my sergeants raised his hand. He'd seen something, a figure, sitting against the barn wall, not moving. We fanned out, rifles up, boots crunching through the snow. My heart was loud in my chest. You never knew. A wounded man could still pull a trigger, but as we got closer, I saw he wasn't holding a weapon. He was just sitting there, head down, hands in his lap. A boy. That's the word that came to me. Not a soldier, a boy. He couldn't have been more than 18. Maybe younger. His uniform was too big for him. Feldgrau wool, stained and torn. No helmet. His hair was dark, matted with dirt and sweat. His face was pale, hollow. The kind of pale that comes from hunger and cold and fear. He looked up when we approached, slow, like it took effort. His eyes met mine. I've thought about that moment a lot over the years, tried to describe it, but words don't really fit. He wasn't defiant, he wasn't angry, he wasn't even afraid exactly. He just looked tired, like he'd been carrying something too heavy for too long, and now he'd finally set it down. "Hand hoch," one of my men said. Hands up. The boy didn't move at first, just stared. Then slowly he raised his hands. They were shaking. We searched him. No weapon, no grenades, just a canteen, empty, in a small canvas pouch at his belt. He didn't resist, didn't speak, just stood there swaying slightly like he might fall over. Kowalski brought him some water. The boy drank it fast, desperate, water spilling down his chin. "Danke," he whispered. "Thank you." We sat him down, gave him a blanket. He wrapped it around himself and stared at the ground. I asked him his name. He didn't answer. Maybe he didn't understand. Maybe he just didn't care anymore. One of my men, a guy who spoke some German, tried again. The boy looked up. His lips moved, but no sound came out at first. Then quietly, "Johann." Johann. He was from somewhere in Bavaria, we learned later. A village even smaller than this one. Conscripted in the fall of '44. Sent east, then west. No training, no time. Just a rifle and a uniform and orders to hold a line that didn't exist anymore. He'd been separated from his unit 2 weeks ago, or maybe 3. He wasn't sure. Time had stopped meaning much. He'd walked, hidden, slept in ditches and abandoned houses, ate whatever he could find, which wasn't much. He told us haltingly about the planes, the American planes. He said they were everywhere, day and night. The sound of them, constant, overlapping, like thunder that never stopped. He said he used to look up and count them. Dozens, hundreds, silver shapes moving across the sky in perfect lines. He said it made him feel small. Not afraid exactly, just small. Like the war wasn't something he was part of anymore. Just something happening around him, above him, beyond him. He talked about the cold, the way it hurt to breathe, the way his feet had gone numb weeks ago and never came back. He talked about his friends, boys he'd trained with, boys who weren't boys anymore. One had been killed by artillery, another had frozen to death in a foxhole, a third had just walked away one night and never came back. Johann didn't blame him. He said the officers told them to fight, to hold, to believe. But belief is hard when you're hungry, when you're cold, when you haven't slept in days. He said he stopped believing somewhere around Christmas. He didn't say what he believed in now. We brought him back to the command post, a schoolhouse, or what was left of one. Walls still standing, roof half gone. There were other prisoners there, a dozen or so, older men mostly, exhausted, resigned. They sat on the floor, backs against the wall, smoking cigarettes we'd given them. No one talked much. Johann sat apart from them, knees pulled to his chest, staring at nothing. I watched him for a while, tried to imagine what he was thinking. Was he relieved, grateful to be done? Or was he ashamed, afraid of what came next? I didn't know. One of my lieutenants came over, asked if we should process him, get his information, send him back to the holding area. I nodded, but I didn't move right away. There was something about him, something that made me pause. Maybe it was how young he looked, or how quiet. Or maybe it was just that I was tired too. We were winning. Everyone knew that. The war was almost over. The Germans were broken, beaten, but standing there, looking at this boy in his too big uniform, I didn't feel like a winner. I just felt heavy. Later that night, I sat in the corner of the schoolhouse with a cup of bad coffee and tried to write a letter home. I got 3 lines in and stopped. What was I supposed to say? That we were fine? That it would be over soon? That I'd spent the day guarding a kid who looked like he'd never hurt anyone in his life? I put the paper away. Outside, the snow started again. The next morning, we moved out. The prisoners were loaded onto a truck. Destination: a larger holding camp 20 miles west. Johann was among them. As they were boarding, something fell from his coat, a small, folded square of paper. One of my men picked it up, started to call out. But Johann was already on the truck, staring straight ahead. The man handed it to me. It was a letter. The paper was thin, cheap, the kind you saw everywhere in the war. Folded carefully, edges worn soft. There was no envelope, no stamp, no address, just words, handwritten, in German. I unfolded it slowly. The handwriting was careful, deliberate. The letters pressed hard into the page like the writer had been gripping the pencil too tight. I couldn't read it. My German wasn't good enough. But I knew what it was. I'd seen enough letters, written enough, carried enough in my pocket that never got sent. This was the kind you write when you think you might not get another chance. The kind you write to someone you love. I folded it back up, put it in my jacket. That night I found our translator, a sergeant from New York who'd grown up speaking German at home. I handed him the letter. "Can you read this?" He nodded, unfolded it, read silently for a moment. Then he looked up at me. "It's to his mother." "What does it say?" He hesitated. Then he started to read aloud. First in German, slow, careful, then in English. "Dear Mother, I don't know if this letter will ever reach you. I don't even know if I can send it, but I have to write it. I have to tell you that I'm still alive. It is very cold here, colder than home. At night, I can hear the planes. They fly so low that the ground shakes. I have stopped counting them. I think of you often, of the garden, of the bread you always baked, of the evenings by the stove. I am afraid, Mother. I don't know what will happen next. I don't know if I will come home, but I wanted you to know that I think of you every day, every night. I love you. Johann." Ich referred the ending, 38 to 40. I kept that letter. I don't know why. It wasn't mine. It wasn't written to me, but I couldn't throw it away. Johann was sent west with the others. I never saw him again. I don't know what happened to him, if he made it home, if his mother ever found out he was alive. I hope she did. The war ended 2 months later. I came home, got married, had kids, lived a long, quiet life. But sometimes late at night, I think about that boy, about the letter he wrote but never sent, about all the letters that were written and never sent, all the words that were meant to be read but never were. War takes a lot of things, lives, homes, futures. But maybe the cruelest thing it takes is words, the things we meant to say, the things we needed to say, the things that mattered most. I think about Johann's mother, somewhere in Bavaria, waiting for a letter that never came. And I think about all the mothers, on both sides, waiting. I don't know what makes a man a hero. I used to think it was courage, action, sacrifice. But maybe it's simpler than that. Maybe it's just seeing another human being, really seeing them, even when everything around you is trying to make you forget they're human at all. I saw Johann. I saw a boy who was afraid, who missed his mother, who wanted to go home. And for a moment in the middle of all that destruction, I remembered something important. We're all just trying to get home.